Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, let's talk about Bitcoin and what the whales are doing. Bitcoin right now is over $57,000, looking good on the daily with the RSI. That's not to say the price can go further down, but it looks like we're finding some sort of bottom here. But this is not 100% confirmed. So please make sure you understand me there. I'm not saying we absolutely have hit the bottom. I'm saying it's looking like we're forming some sort of bottom here. And as I've been stating, the Ethereum spot ETF approvals, which may be around the corner, maybe by July 15th, could be the catalyst that sparks the bull reversal and we continue moving up to new all-time highs, or we continue to move sideways and chop and so forth until we find some sort of bottom. So we have to be prepared for both scenarios. This is investing. There are no certainties. There's only probabilities here. We look at which scenario has the highest chance of playing out. Now, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is still at a fear, currently at a 27. That's very bullish. And what we are seeing, guys, is that whales and institutions are buying the dips. Smart money operates like this all the time. They do the contrarian move when the herd is fearful, when the retail folks are scared and running away and selling. They buy. And here we see a report from Bloomberg that's highlighting that 438 millions were poured into the Bitcoin spot ETFs over the past 2 days, as Bitcoin has hit new lows for this pullback. Nate Gracie of the ETF store said, "How can this be? I was told only degen retail investors held these products and they would bail at any downturn." So of course he's being a bit sarcastic there. But guys, I've been reporting to you like what Bitwise Asset Management has been highlighting, that they've been getting 30 and $40 million inflow days. So this is the combined number over the past 2 days for many of the big ETF issuers. One user did some tracking on Fidelity's Bitcoin inflows, and he said yesterday that Fidelity bought the dip 1,100 Bitcoin. So you see what's happening here, guys. I personally bought the dip. I bought some Solana and Ethereum to add to my portfolio because I believe both are going to do really well. Ethereum has the narrative with the ETF coming up, and Solana obviously has been seeing a lot of liquidity, a lot of big updates. And that's not financial advice, so please do your own research. But I'm buying the dips for certain altcoins where I see a lot of strong narratives and liquidity is going into. Now, another signal I often like to share with you guys is the minting of stable coins like USDC and USDT. And oftentimes you'll see a good amount of these when there's a pullback in the market, especially in the bull market, where whales who trade in stable coins are grabbing up a ton of stable coins, and then they, of course, put that into the market. So we've been seeing a ton of USDC minted by Circle over the past week, guys. Here, 250 million was minted today. We had on July 5th, 65 million, and the list goes on and on. If you want to track this, you can follow Whale Alert on Twitter, and you're going to be able to see what's being moved, what stable coins have been issued at the treasuries. And like I said, you often see USDT. I'm seeing a lot of USDC. So this is very bullish in my opinion. So millions being minted. And like I said, those stable coins are going into the market. So a very bullish metric here. Now, moving ahead, we got news that digital asset trader Oros to invest over $50 million in crypto startups through its newly established VC arm. Oh, look at that. They're not scared. They're not bearish. They are looking to invest in the market. And many of these funds and VCs, they invest in both the tokens as well as the companies that are building the infrastructure of the market. So let me give you some details here. Crypto trading firm and market maker Oros said in an exclusive interview with CoinDesk that its newly established venture capital arm plans to invest more than $50 million of its own capital in early stage digital asset ventures in the next 2 years. To lead the investment efforts, the company appointed Julian Auchincorn, if I'm saying that right, as head of Oros Ventures. Auchincorn previously held roles at hedge fund Brevin Howard and digital asset services platform XBTO International, among other crypto and traditional investment firms. The announcement comes at a time when crypto VC investments have rebounded in the first half of 2024 after a grueling capital drought following the dramatic implosion of crypto firms such as FTX in 2022, as many investors lost conviction or pivoted to other red-hot narratives like artificial intelligence. The expansion also marks a milestone in Aura's turnaround after being badly hit by the collapse of FTX in late 2022. Aura's co-founder and CIO Ben Roth said in the interview that the market maker now estimates that it handles roughly 4% of the global crypto trading volume on exchanges. So folks, we are seeing across the globe funds and different VCs raising tons of capital, and they're putting it into the crypto market, once again, into the token projects, as well as the companies building the infrastructure of the market. So this is incredibly bullish. And this is the type of news I'm paying attention to, especially where they're putting this money into, what's part of their portfolio. That is something you should be paying attention to as an investor, because you want to know where liquidity is going to be injected. Sure, you may not be able to see everything, but any of the public news that goes out that, hey, we're going to invest into this project and so forth, can be an indication of what may perform well, because there's a lot of backing and liquidity and so forth. Now, moving ahead, guys, tomorrow is a very big day for crypto because we do have the vote in the House to repeal Biden's veto of the SOB 121 rule, which is a bullshit rule from the SEC. However, many in the Democrat leadership have told their members to vote no in overturning this. So folks in the Blockchain Association and the Digital Chamber are highlighting this news. Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business said Democrat Whip Catherine Clark recommends that members vote to uphold the president's veto of HJ Resolution 109. So we'll see what happens, guys. Remember, many Democrats joined with the Republicans to repeal this in the first go-round, both in the House and the Senate, but Biden ended up vetoing it. So fingers crossed they can get this done. But as we talked about in yesterday's podcast, there is an alternative. There is a bipartisan bill which could resolve this. So it's not the end of the world if this doesn't make it through. So we got to keep a close eye on it. Also tomorrow, as I've been reporting, Congressman Ro Khanna's Crypto Roundtable is taking place in Washington. We've been highlighting that Mark Cuban's going to be there. People who are part of the Biden administration will be there, and cryptocurrency industry leader Marco Santorini, who is the chief legal officer at Kraken Exchange, highlighted today that he's going to be at the roundtable tomorrow. I will be interviewing Sheila Warren of the Crypto Council for Innovation. She's going to be there as well. So I'll try to get the details. What were the takeaways from this roundtable? But this is Congressman Ro Khanna's attempt to try to save the Democrats here, because they're losing a ton of ground with crypto because of Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler. Will he be successful? I hope so, because crypto should not be a partisan issue. It's just Elizabeth Warren who's caused all these problems. Also, Dan Spuller of the Blockchain Association highlighted that the association has been asked to participate in a high-level discussion at the White House organized by Representative Ro Khanna, bringing together the two lead National Trade Association, the Blockchain Association, and the Crypto Council for Innovation, select leaders in the crypto industry, Mark Cuban, Democrat lawmakers, and Biden admin. So folks, let's see what the outcome is here. Can Democrats salvage their reputation that they are anti-crypto? It's possible, but they have to not just say it, they're going to have to do something about it. I believe ultimately crypto will win, despite what Biden or Gensler or Elizabeth Warren do, because disruptive technology always wins. We've seen so many hurdles over the years. We've seen so much FUD, but they can't stop it. The more they attack it, the more it becomes stronger. They can't kill it. The genie's out of the bottle. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Then you can't put it back in. So I'm bullish long term, despite what happens here in the short term. But look, Trump is campaigning on crypto, that he's the pro-crypto candidate, that you will have the right to self-custody and much more. And he's got a strong lead right now. And he and pro-crypto candidates are getting a bunch of that $160 million war chest that was put together by the crypto industry to support pro-crypto candidates. So many of these Democrats shot themselves in the foot here by following Elizabeth Warren. Folks, a quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is one of the top crypto platforms out there where you can buy Bitcoin and all the top altcoins. I've been using this platform since 2018. I can vouch for it. I've interviewed the CEO, CFO, and so forth. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies on their platform. You can also trade precious metals such as gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. Uphold is fully reserved. They don't lend out your funds or commingle, and you can review their transparency reports and so forth. So once again, I've been using this platform for a long time, and if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. Now, folks, over the years, I've often talked about El Salvador's move in adopting Bitcoin, making it legal tender, that we would see game theory play out and that other countries would follow suit. Well, look at this. Suriname presidential candidate Maya Parbo said she was inspired to run for president because El Salvador's Nayib Bukele is pro-Bitcoin. So I've been saying I believe another country or two may follow El Salvador's move. Suriname is a small country in South America in the northern tip. So we shall see, folks. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg of what's to come. And I think many of these nation states will start adopting Bitcoin, making it legal tender, holding it on their central bank balance sheet, and so forth. So exciting times. Now let's jump to the UK. The Labour victory in UK elections renews crypto industry optimism. So the Labour Party has promised to make the UK the global leader in tokenization. Now, I'm not here to support any specific party. I don't live in the UK, obviously, but I'm just highlighting anything that is beneficial to crypto. So the United Kingdom's general election has ended in a landslide victory for the Labour Party, ending 14 years of Conservative Party government. With that comes renewed optimism for positive action and engagement with the crypto industry. Outgoing Prime Minister Rishi Sunak made much of his crypto asset hub ambitions, but industry observers said action to back his promises were sorely lacking. With Labour now in power, the hope for positive action is cautiously renewed, industry body Crypto UK told Cointelegraph. We have established strong relationships with the Labour MPs and policymakers, and we intend to strengthen these ties going forward to advance the UK's digital assets industry. Sounds very good. We, of course, need to see the actual results. We need to see action. And look, the fact that this Labour Party won could be an indication of what's going to happen here. But, Rishi Sunak was pretty pro-crypto, but like people are saying, he didn't really do as much as he said he would. But that's a game of politics, right, guys? We know how it works. Politicians make big promises. They usually don't fulfill all those promises. We know the game, right? So this is why we got to be smart in how we vote and so forth. All right, moving ahead, hybrid layer 2 project BOB or Bob raises $1.6 million from Ledger Ventures and angel investors. BOB is built on Bitcoin, raised the $1.6 million. The strategic fund was led by Ledger Ventures. So the Build on Bitcoin incubator, they support new startups focused on Bitcoin infrastructure and decentralized applications. So folks, capital coming in. Many of these projects are getting money. And once again, this is news you want to pay attention to and how this may impact tokens if it's part of the ecosystem. So I hope you understand why I'm sharing this news for you, why it's bullish, and why you should care about it, because it could present new investing opportunities. Now we got some news about Worldcoin. Worldcoin is very controversial. I don't hold any of the tokens. I did do my research on it, but I found it to be a bit dystopian, with the whole retina scan, and that potentially they are exploiting people in other countries. Like, hey, I'm going to give you some free tokens. Just give me your digital identity and your retina scan and all that, right? I don't want to do this, but I think their mission, it makes sense. It's certainly a mission that's needed, and the way they're trying to help fix some problems globally. The way they're going about it, though, is a bit dystopian. So Worldcoin Foundation launches World Chain developer preview ahead of mainnet. So the foundation has released a developer preview of its own layer 2 network, World Chain. The preview allows developers to build, test, and provide feedback on World Chain before its mainnet launch this summer. Look, this coin could do well, WLD, but You can invest in everything, but it may do well. But one of the things why I was hesitant to invest in this coin, aside from the dystopian thing, is that many of the governments have been going after Worldcoin, saying, "Hey, you can't just take people's data. You can't just have them scan their eyeballs and you're taking the data. We need to know what you're doing with that data, and you need to get some sort of regulations around this." And I think that's fair because we don't know what their data saying. It's on the blockchain and no one can touch it, but is there a back door? I don't know. And I need a third party neutral entity to come in and say what they're saying is actually true, right? I can't take them at their word because we've seen different things in the industry where people would straight up lie. I'm not saying they are lying. I'm just saying I don't know. I can't see it. I need maybe an audit, right? So we'll have to wait and see how things go. I don't know if any of you guys hold WorldCoin. I'm not hating on you for holding WorldCoin. Maybe it does well and it makes you money, but I'm just saying from a investment standpoint, it's not for me right now. Maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I'll change my mind later on, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, some good news. Sentencing for ex-FTX executives set for October and November. So this is for Nishad Singh and Gary Wang, who both testified at SBF's criminal trial, are scheduled to be sentenced later this year. All these guys who are bad actors, who broke the law, scammed people, stole their money, they need to go to jail. You do the crime, you pay the time, right? We'll see what happens with Caroline Ellison as well. But I think we're finally able to put this FTX situation behind us because of the distribution of people's funds back to them after the whole bankruptcy situation. And Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, is in jail, so we can move forward. And I think the industry has definitely grown past this because of BlackRock and Wall Street's here, and a lot of the people who are regulated and who can be trusted are here. And when I say trusted, I mean in the general mainstream sense that they're not stealing your money. Sure, they may not have great intentions, and that's a whole other conversation. But for the most part, regulators are watching what they're doing and where the money's going and so forth. They're not commingling. They're not sending your funds to a trading firm like Alameda in the back room for a Caroline Ellison to lose all the money and put the whole company at risk and so forth, right? And I covered this story in my book, guys. I talk about the transition. The title of the book is Rethinking Crypto, the Crash of FTX and the Rise of Safer, Stronger Digital Assets, where I talk about why FTX wasn't crypto, and that if you were self-custodying, you were not affected by this, and the transition to Wall Street and ETFs and much more, and more regulations coming into the market and so forth. So, guys, grab a copy to support the podcast. It's available on Amazon in paperback and digital. Grab a couple copies for your friends and family who want to learn about crypto. It includes tips for investing in crypto. If you bought a copy already, please leave a rating and review on Amazon. It would really help me out. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Leave your thoughts and comments below, and I'll talk to you all later.